storms to pop up. At this point, I do think they're going to be below what we would consider a severe level. So they could still be some strong downpours, but I don't look to say those damaging winds or large hail or anything like that. Tomorrow, a little bit of a different scenario. So let's kind of dive into things. We'll start with the current conditions. It's partly cloudy out there, very warm for sure. The feels like temperature because of that extra humidity is about 94 degrees in the downtown Houston area, and the thermometer's running at about 87 degrees. So when we take a look at our Futurecast and kind of those expectations for the day today, first of all, anytime during the day we could have some afternoon sort of isolated storms popping up. But when you see our Futurecast, do you see this very organized line that starts to coming in towards southeast Texas? This is in the overnight hours. So this is going to be like 10 or 11 o'clock this evening as it begins to get itself sort of final approach, if you will, to southeast Texas. There's still some questions as far as what it'll look like when it arrives. I'll show you some modeling here and again in a minute to kind of get a better idea of that. But it does look like it'll be enough to be pretty stormy for Friday morning around sunrise. That's kind of the timing on it right now. Again, we'll have to sort of see how everything kind of unfolds. Temperature-wise today, we're going to be warming up to the upper 80s. I think there'll be enough clouds and enough sort of isolated rain across the area that most of us, not all, but most of us will stay out of the 90s. A handful of us, though, definitely has the possibility of kind of getting into 90s. So it's pretty similar to what we saw yesterday. These are yesterday's high temperatures, and I think we're doing this again today, where a lot of us will be 89 or 88, and then a few of us pops into 90 to 91. Kind of that mix is what we're looking for across the area, depending on how much cloud cover and how much of that rain is around you somewhat. So for the next 5 days on our rainfall accumulation map, this shows how much rain will fall in the 5 days total, adding it all up. And certainly Oklahoma and over in Arkansas really piling up some inches of rain. Will be a little bit more moderated here across southeast Texas, and we're thankful for that. We've got enough rain that we've had for a while. We could use a little bit of a break. But as I've talked about, the afternoon showers plus a few overnight storms could be popping up for today. Friday morning, a lot of this is that early morning, but also into the afternoon hours. So we'll look for some more rain possibly on Saturday, but notice how we get thinner as we move into Sunday and Monday. That's that drier pattern kind of taking place once again. Temperatures currently across the area, 88 degrees in Sugar Land, 88 in Katy. We'll do 86 degrees right now in Cleveland. Rain for the last 24 hours, some isolated areas really kind of adding up a little bit here or there. Out towards Wharton and Fort Bend County where they meet, maybe 5 inches of rain. Radar estimated totals. Just in the northern portions of Harris County and the southeastern portions of Montgomery County, maybe as much as 4 inches. So they kind of have these pockets of these heavier rain, but not everybody's seeing those heavier ones. And I sort of talked about this already with that Futurecast showing some of those storms headed towards us here in southeast Texas. Well, this is still where we're expecting the strongest of the storms today. You'll notice the Storm Prediction Center has it on their level 3 out of 5 as far as severe weather, as far as how much and how likely that is to happen. When we take a look at us here in Houston, the majority of us are sitting in that level 1 with our northwest counties in that level 2. But we get to tomorrow, and now everybody here looks like we could see some of those stronger storms. Level 2, I think that could even be possibly upgraded as we get a little bit better organized as far as what's happening coming our direction for the rest of the next 24 hours. Now, here's what I want to sort of step back on just a minute and look at the bigger pattern. If you'll remember, a week or so ago, we had that stretch of very hot weather, very dry weather, and then we kind of slipped into this wetter pattern, and then we expect to get back into a drier pattern for next week. It has a lot to do with this high pressure ridge right here over more or less Pacific and the Mexico coastline. When we had that very dry weather pattern, this high pressure was centered more over Mexico. And so that meant that the outreach of that high pressure covered up the Houston area. These storms that we're seeing right here, they ride right along the edge of that higher pressure system. And so in our colors, it's not perfect, but more or less you'll notice this orange and the red shading. Well, this orange shading is what really kind of helps prevent some of that rain from developing. And you'll notice how our rain kind of rides around this orange shading here, the strength of that pressure, which again is centered over the coast of Mexico and the Pacific right now. So as we move through time, here's those storms moving through in the overnight hours. And then we get into Saturday, we still keep some of this rain possible. But then as we get into Sunday, watch this high pressure system grow a little bit stronger. We get more of that darker orange helping to protect us here in Houston. When I say protect us, it kind of pushes that rain a little bit away from us underneath that ridge of high pressure. So again, that's kind of a very big general discussion on what's happening. There's a lot of little fine tuning that happens as well, but that's kind of what we're looking at. Here's the Futurecast, and as I get going here, I'm going to pause for a minute because I want to explain a little bit of a scenario that we're looking at. First of all, we get into Thursday in the afternoon. So this afternoon, we'll have these isolated heavy downpours. So bottom line is if you get a little shower or thunderstorm today in the afternoon, I think it's going to be a fairly brief but intense downpour. When we get into tonight, though, that's when things get a little bit different. This more organized system begins to arrive. So here's what I want to say. As this system comes in, this morning system around sunrise, if it's very, very strong and organized, that second wave, which you're going to see here in just a minute in the afternoon, will be a bit weaker, because the atmosphere can't support two big systems. We're going to get one big one and one weaker one. So if this morning one is the big one, then our afternoon will be weaker. But if this morning one is weaker, then our afternoon one will be the stronger one. So this is the morning one right now that we're looking at. And in this particular computer model, picking up that it will probably be the slightly weaker one, and then the stronger one coming in the afternoon, getting a little bit better organized as it comes through. We're still sort of watching this unfold and helping to make it happen, but we'll continue to sort of see that. We're going to have at least a 50% chance of rain through Saturday. So even higher probably on Friday when we got those little waves of energy coming through. And as we've discussed, on Sunday we start bringing those rain chances down a little bit, especially by the end of the week of the day. And then we lock back into a higher temperature and less chances of rain. So while the rain chances keeps us more in the upper 80s on the afternoon thermometers, with the less rain chances, we're back in those lower 90s again, with some isolated showers still being possible and taking place. So that'll kind of get us going here with our morning update, and we'll look for you here in about 21 minutes or so, and we'll check in for a full report on Fox 26 News at noon.